So if our problematic is to draw two communities together, the best way to do that is not to look for the place where there's boundaries, but to look for the place where there's overlap.
The way how you talk about honesty actually and is connected to how we talk about rigor. And rigor and honesty, and then also kind of overall, you call it shalom, but we really see peace as like an intrinsic good, seeking good.
That's right. Yeah,
that's how I put it. So it was really cool to see those parallels, and so you just really seem to see that naturally as a direction to go. Can you tell us more about why that's the direction to go? And I think it's important to unpack a bit more, because you're not really saying that science takes and faith or churches, scientists and Christians take hold of these values in the same way, or we conceive them in the same way, right? Are you? I mean, you're more saying that that's a point of a place where there could be commonality and also differences. And exploring that and kind of wrestling that could be a more productive way to engage. Is that what you're saying, or how would you put it?
So I chose to focus on values and virtues in part because of what I know from broader social science work. So if our problematic is to draw two communities together, the best way to do that is not to look for the place where there's boundaries, but to look for the place where there's overlap. And so I started, usually when I talk to pastors of churches who are fearful of science, they will say, how can I defend my church? Or parents who are Christian parents who are fearful of science, how can I defend my child and my child's education against these ideas? But what if we completely change that to say, to believe that science is an inherent good? If we as Christians think that science too is created by God as a way to understand the natural world, the biological world, then what if we looked at that instead as what are the things that we have in common? What are the values that we could potentially share? Not to say that some people might not, some people will see disagreements, but what are the values that we share? And these are the values that I noticed in the research that I've done so far as coming up most often, that there was some kind of evidence in the interview data in particular that I've collected and the observational data that we've collected that pointed toward these values. Yeah.
Let's expand on them a bit. So I have your, you can't really see it that well, but I have the table of contents here.
I'm so glad, because I don't know if I fully memorized them. You know how it is. After you write the book, then you go out and write another book and you're like, please don't test me on this.
Yeah, that's how I should turn it around. Can you tell me what, anyways, you talk about values values that are oriented towards process. And I also want to point out too, one set of studies you reference is the stuff by the Virtues Project by Robert Pennock, looking at scientific virtues and how scientists think about virtues. And it's interesting because the top one they put out there actually, I think, is humility to data, or in honesty, I think, are two of the top ones there. But regardless, these are the ones you put out. You put curiosity as one, you put doubt, humility, and creativity. And then in terms of redemption, you talk about healing, awe, shalom, which is another word for peace, and gratitude.